Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Coach Tiffany Parra, Editor-in-Chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics Magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. Happy Monday, y'all. This is our Mental Monday segment, and we have some very special guests. Some of our contributing writers are going to be taking center stage with me on the Own It Publishing platform, and we are going to be talking about depression and how we can get to the other side of it, how we can have resilience when it comes to some of those different situations, those difficult situations in life. So let me go ahead and bring on a couple of our contributing writers here, taking center stage with me. Teresa, what's going on, Teresa? Welcome, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone.
And we have Mr. Jeffrey Edwards. Hello and good morning, sir. Welcome.
Morning, everybody.
And hello. We've got Avi Sheila coming in the house as well. Good afternoon, coming in from the UK. So welcome, Coach Avi.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hello.
Thank you so much, everybody, for just showing up this morning. For me, it's 7:00 in the morning here on the West Coast. So let me just go around the room real quickly. I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, tell everyone who you are, where you are, and a little bit about what you do, because there's some people in here tuning in that probably have never met you before. So, Teresa, we're going to go ahead and start with you.
Okay, welcome, everyone, and thank you for having me on this morning. I am Teresa Palmer. I'm a nurse practitioner or advanced practice nurse, and my expertise is holistic cardiology. And I've been doing that for over 3 decades. Wow, that makes me sound old. But anyway, I started at a very young age. And I have written a book called Heal Your Heart from Within, which is knowledge and tools of not only self-awareness, but self-care when it comes to heart health. And that's particularly important because not only for heart health, for our own health, because self-care is very much important. And in order to have self-care, you need to be self-aware, which is a precursor to self-care. So what I do with patients, I was doing it up until recently in my private cardiology practice, was bridging Eastern philosophy, medicine, spirituality, and metaphysics with traditional cardiology medicine. So people were getting the best of both worlds. And I think that's also important because it's never an either or, it's always a both. It's this and it's that. It's not this or that. So I do a program called Heart Consciousness, which is all about self-awareness, self-care, and tuning into your heart, which tunes you into who you are and your physical body.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Welcome. All right, we're going to move down to you, Jeffrey. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
How are you doing? I'm author, musician, journalist, CEO, and host of 3 podcasts, interviews, sports, and social discussion. I'm here in Detroit, so what up, though? We still grieve that Lions loss. So maybe next year. I have a book out recently, my 4th one, JLE Daily Devotionals, a 365-day book to help you achieve your goals, motivate you. Have 2 albums out, JLE World, JLE Experience. I'm a journalist. I have my press pass. Trying to figure that thing out so I can be at the sporting events. And CEO of a few companies. So I'm trying to help you find a purpose, ultimately.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Welcome. All right. Coach A.B., please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name's A.B. Sheila Jettispaith, and I'm a self-love and mental fitness coach. And I help women work on their limiting beliefs, help them to gain self-confidence and move forward, feeling empowered to make decisions that help them to live a fulfilling life. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So today's Mental Monday is focused on really having a resilience and thriving after depression. We've all had moments where we have, whether it be a loss of, a loved one or a pet, a job, whether it be a diagnosis, right? There's a lot of different things that can bring us into that, dark place that I'll call depression. So we're going to just kind of dig into, the mindset shifts and just a lot of ways that we can, really overcome this, because there is light at the dark or light at the end of every tunnel, right, everybody? So what are those mindset shifts, when we get to that really dark place and we get to that depression where we feel that it's the end of the world. We don't know what to do. What are some of those mind shifts that are really crucial and critical for transitioning and just making it click so we can survive and thrive through this? Teresa, so what are some of the mindset shifts that we need to really just transition through that depressive state?
Yeah, I'll start with first, I think it's important. Is it a clinical depression or is it a sadness? Because sometimes, even with a loss, we're expected to be sad, to grieve if we lose a pet, a job, anything. The difference is, can we get up in the morning? Can we still do things, take care of children or other pets or anything if we have to? Or is it to the point where you pull the covers over your head, you can't do anything? That's important to distinguish, and that needs to be done by a healthcare professional, because sometimes people do need medication. And when it's done appropriately, it's a jump start to everything else. So the mindset, I would say the most important thing is, number one, you determine the level of this depression or sadness. Number two is not only being present in the moment, the what is, not worrying about what happened, what could happen in the future, but also feeling emotions. One of my mentors, who now has transitioned to the other side, Rick Jarrow, always said, sometimes you have to sit in that oven until you're fully baked. And too often we try to come out too quickly before we're baked. And then what happens, we don't deal with the situation or the emotions, and we have to go back in the oven. And sometimes we get tired of sitting in there. But it's important to really be able to get through that tunnel. So you really need to focus on those emotions. What are you feeling? And we don't always have to feel good. People, we kind of, especially in the United States, have a misunderstanding that we have to feel good. You ask somebody how they are, the answer always is, I'm fine, how are you? Nobody really wants to know how you're feeling unless they're a close friend, a family member, or a confidant. But it's important for you as the individual to say, okay, I lost my job. I don't need to be happy about this. I could be sad. I don't have to feel good. I could feel unhappy, and that's an appropriate response. And I think sometimes with depression, we try to hide that.
Yeah.
There's two things. Either we jump the gun. I've had even young people come into my practice and say, oh, I broke up with so-and-so. I have to see her in my third period chemistry class. I need an antidepressant because I don't want to be sad when I see her. Well, you need to be sad when you see her because you need to get through that. And those aren't people that you give antidepressant medication to. But then there's people that need to jumpstart their life again, to get out of that hole, to be able to start to feel again, to be able to deal with things. And in order to do that, you have to have some part of a rational mind, and you have to have an open heart. So I would say, again, the two things are, number one, be present in the moment. What's going on right now, and how am I dealing with it? And number two, knowing that you don't have to feel good. There's sure positive thinking is important, but it also has to be realistic when you're thinking positive. If the world is falling apart around you, that's not the time to say, oh, everything's wonderful. That's the time to say, this is going on. it's okay for me to feel this way. And now what else can I do to get past it? And movement or exercise, anything like that is important because it helps with getting serotonin, not only to the brain, but then taking that serotonin from the brain and distributing it so that we feel better. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, and I think you hit quite a few points there, and really processing those emotions is huge. Listening to your body, like you said, Teresa, because sometimes we're going through a lot of stress that may lead us down into depression, and like you said, it could be a chemical imbalance where we do need that kickstart. So, I mean, even for myself in, my own experience, having panic attacks and not even knowing what they are, and then going, oh my gosh, what is this? Is it, am I doing something? And then you go down a whole different rabbit hole. So, that kickstart sometimes is necessary, but also, as you said, like a breakup, something like that, processing those emotions and going through it, is everything. So let's go to you, Jeffrey. What mindset shifts are crucial in transitioning, from surviving to thriving after going through depression?
Well, I know my most recent experience being laid off late October, outlook, because working, okay, you might have stuff you're going to try to take care of, and then boom, you're not working. Now you got to go learn what the unemployment is, because I've been working since I was 14. Like, where do I go for that? And then you have a little shame because you want nobody to know, like you did something wrong, but it's a part of life, and I'm a man of faith, so what do you hold on to? Do you really believe that God supply all your needs? There's like a little Job test for you. Okay, you talk all that, you tell others when they go through, now you going through, what do you believe? And do you have a community? And do you let them in to know? And you find out, just like you've been pouring seed into your community, they got your back. And that's the most humbling part of it, when I call the voices, because you start hearing now, you're going to be homeless, you're going to pay this. No, I ain't listening to you. I'm listening to you, I'm going to be sitting here wallowing, drinking some crowds, just all jacked up. That ain't going to get me nowhere. It sucks right now. I'm frustrated. But there's going to be an end to it. And then maybe start writing down your goals of, okay, how do I regroup? Do I read my resume, learn some new skills?
Right.
Do I maybe get in my word more, or read a self-help book? Daily day devotionals might help you.
Yep.
Get focused and really reevaluate. Because I know I've recently had to do it and apologize to God, because you're like, dude, every time I look up, I'm dealing with something. What's up with all that? Can I get a break? And I was reminded recently, like, you're one of the soldiers, so you're going to go do something with the crying for.
That's right.
You're going to be all right, because supply your needs right. You can check that box. You ain't struggling. You ain't got money like you want to ball out, but what you need has been taken care of. And that helps you, I hope, become grateful that those things are being met, which can make you feel more confident. And your community, the people you pour it into, they reaching out like, oh, here's $20. Just because I know what's going on. I got you. Don't worry about it. Just keep positive. Keep focused. Keep working on your podcast. So you need some money for that. You be like, wow. You don't think about you pouring into people, but you get that love back. Right. And that can re-energize you to keep going, to maybe God wanted you to sit down for a minute to reevaluate some stuff. That can be possible, because you might not be going in the direction of your purpose like you need to be. And now is the time to get that grind going. So when you come out of it, you where you should be.
Right. I love that, Jeff, because, having that attitude of gratitude is everything, right? Like, and putting it in perspective that, look, you know what, this is kind of a bad situation. It was taken from me. Like, I got to adjust. But having the faith and knowing, like, hey, you know what, I do not want for nothing. Yeah, I can't ball out like I maybe want to, but my needs are met. and that it's just going to keep on being positive. So just being able to have that shift, that attitude of gratitude. Again, I think that's what does definitely bring people, out of that depressive state as well. So I love that. I love that. So thank you, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Coach AB, what mindset shifts do you feel are crucial?
So crucial, mindset shifts are crucial from my perspective after you've gone through it, thriving after depression. So one of the things that I would look at is going from hopelessness to empowerment. So recognize that it's not a race. It doesn't define you. It does take time to come out of it. So be compassionate with yourself. Give yourself time. It's a condition. It's not your identity. Because sometimes I think we think that's who we are, but it isn't who we are. So that's very important. So shift from mind your language, from I can't to I can, I'm capable of, that kind of helps you mentally to feel more positive. And then about perfectionism, we don't have to do everything today. We don't have to put so much pressure on ourselves, just baby steps. And when you take each step, you celebrate each step, no matter how small. So I feel depressed, I never got out of bed. But now, after my medication or my kickstart, I'm feeling better. So I'm going to go for an exercise today. But you don't happen to get up and go for the exercise, but you wake up and you have the intention. So that's the first step. That's still a win because you're in the mind that, yeah, I'm doing it. So maybe you're even dressed to go, but you don't actually go. But that's still a win. So don't beat yourself up and say, oh, I didn't go. That's still a win. And the more you celebrate your wins, the more your brain gets active to say, yes, I can do it. So the next day you find out you're doing the next step better. And before you know what's going on, you're doing 5 minutes. And the next thing you're doing 1 hour. So baby steps, celebrate each win, chunk down things. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Little by little, it's not a race. It's different for everybody. Some people might recover overnight. You might take longer to recover, and that's fine. From isolation to connection, making friends, keeping in touch with people that raise your vibration, maybe staying away from negative people, naysayers. Oh no, you can't do it. Keeping your distance for a while till you get stronger. Maybe that can help. Negative self-talk, like I think one of the doctors, Dr. Amen, I think his name, called it ANTS, automatic negative talk. So you get these things that come into your mind, and that's not you. So you can't help what thoughts come into your mind, and it's okay. It's an inner critic. Is it true? Is it true 90% of the time? Or sorry, only 10% of the time, but we magnify it and think it's all of the time. But it's not actually true. It's just that maybe might have down days. So be compassionate with yourself and affirm your inherent worth. You are unique, you're independent, affirm your achievements. You've done really well to even get up and get out of your states initially. That's really great. So yeah, recognize your wins. Yep.
I love that. Yeah. And you mentioned too, just having that self-compassion, right? Which rolls me into the next question is, what role do self-compassion and forgiveness play in that, journey to recovery? So Teresa, we're going to start with you. What is that, what does that role of self-compassion and forgiveness for through this journey?
I think they're both crucial in order to get past anything, whether it be depression, anxiety, negative thinking, anything. Because unless you can have compassion for yourself, you can't have compassion for other people. You have to be able to know that you're not perfect, that it's okay to make mistakes, and that things don't always turn out the way that we want them to. And we have to be gentle with ourselves, just like we're gentle with other people. And we're always taught to show compassion for other people, but we're not always taught to show it for ourselves, because sometimes we have very high expectations of who we are, what should be done, what success is. And sometimes we need to sit down with ourselves, get to know ourselves. And that's where quiet time or a moving meditation, either a sitting or a moving meditation, comes in to get to know yourself. So that once you know yourself, you know how to be compassionate with yourself because you know what your mind, body, spirit needs. And then the second thing is forgiveness. And boy, forgiveness, if you can't forgive, we kind of look at forgiveness as the other person. Oh, well, I can't forgive so and so for whatever. And there are some horrible things that happen to people. There really are. And forgiveness is not about forgetting, but it's about moving past it. So it's for you. It's not for the other person. It's for you. And in order for you to move on with your life, to get past the situation, the thought, whatever, you have to. And I say have to because it's so important that you have to forgive. You're not doing it for the other person because 9 times out of 10, either they don't care, they've forgotten about it, and they've moved on. And you're the one that has not, you're stuck not only in that anger, that hatred, and that's no good for you physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And a lot of times when you find people that can't forgive, they can't get past something, it so affects their health with chronic illnesses, whether it be heart disease, lung disease, any diabetes, anything, because that festers inside the body. And eventually the body will turn against itself in order to deal with things. So I can't tell people enough. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It's not about them. It's about you. And whether you could say to them personally, I forgive you for X, Y, and Z, or write a letter, or if the person's deceased, either write a letter, maybe go to the gravesite, but it's so important. And you may need professional help with this. You may not be able to do it on your own. You may need therapy, and there's nothing wrong with seeking out professional help in order to forgive. So it's just so crucially important. I could talk about it all day, but I'm going to turn it over to one of my colleagues so they can continue with this.
So thank you so much, Teresa. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and go to you, Jeff. What are your thoughts?
You definitely need to give yourself some grace because we tend to pour a lot into others and we forget about ourselves. I mean, we'll never be Jesus, but we can be Christ-like. And I think we try so hard to be him that you ain't perfect. Let that go. Somebody just try to run you off the road, you about to give them the middle finger, so calm down. You shouldn't, but that we're human, as we call it.
Yeah.
So it's okay to give yourself some grace if you don't always meet that mark. And we do have to learn to forgive because letting people live rent-free in your head is tiring.
Absolutely.
They done moved on 10 years past where you should be because you still stuck in 2010. They're like, are you still mad about that? That's going to make you more mad because I ain't thought about you. So it really is to help you let go of what's happened to you. If you need help, go get it. But you first have to admit there's a problem and you need to let it go. Because when you let it go, you can get back on why you were created, what you should be doing. But that's a lot of energy to be upset all the time. And you can't get that time and energy back. And the way this world going, you could have been way more productive than sitting up there mad drinking like, I can't stand this person. I want to throw rocks at him. And you ain't did nothing all day for the last 3 hours. But think like that. That ain't good for you.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah. No, and as Teresa mentioned too, that's going to turn into festering stuff in the body. I mean, that's the body in ease, right? And what is disease? It's diseases, right, Teresa? I mean, that heart disease, the cancers, the diabetes, all those different things. I mean, even, in my studies of diabetes and trying to stay on the other side of it, when you are holding on to stuff, your blood sugar spikes. And that's very interesting because you are so upset and you don't even know. Like when you're upset, that silent killer called high blood pressure, your blood pressure goes up. When you're having those negative thoughts about people you haven't forgiven and all those things, and you're sitting there, you don't even notice it, but it is going up. If you actually were to have a blood pressure thing on and be able to monitor that, you would see that. So just stay mindful of that, hey, you know what? I'm going to forgive. Like I said, not forget. I'm going to forgive. I'm going to let it go so I can let go of all this negative energy that is pent up inside of me so I can thrive. So excellent, everybody. So let's go to you, Amy.
Oh, thank you, Tiffany. I like what you've just said. Letting go, and like you said, and like everybody else has just said, when you store this negative energy, when you have this negative energy, it does store itself in your nervous system, and so causes your body to be diseased. And we wonder sometimes how we get what we get, but it's negative energy that has been stored, and the cells are just nervous system is so stressed out, and it causes something that maybe it's easier to cope with than the lack of forgiveness. So the compassion for yourself, the same way you have, well, most people, not everybody, has compassion for their friends, and their children, and everybody around them. The same way you have having compassion for yourself helps. If you can't love yourself, as a self-love coach, this is one of my main things I talk about. So compassion and forgiveness. So important to have compassion. Treat yourself the same way you would treat your friend. It should be the other way around. You treat yourself the way, and you treat others the way you treat yourself. So really, you should love yourself first. Like they say on the plane, you put a mask on your face first before you put it on your baby, because you're not good to anybody if you're not functional. And it's the same thing. So if you don't practice the self-love, how are you going to be capable long term to be able to love and have compassion for other people, even though that might be your intention? So it's very important to treat yourself first, acknowledge the struggles that are shared between human experiences, acknowledge all that, practice affirmations. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay to feel low. So you can tell yourself it's okay to feel how I'm feeling. I'm doing my best. I'm getting better. Every day I'm getting better. I think it was Emil Coué, I can never say that name, who said, every day in every way I'm getting better and better. So every day remind yourself you are getting better. You're better than you were the other day. So just remind yourself of that. And forgiveness, like the others have said, it's not about forgetting, and it's not about forgiving the other person. It's not about, no, actually it's about forgiving the other person, but it's not about saying that what the other person has done is right, but it's about letting go and forgiving. Because when you forgive, it's for you. It's for to be able to get rid of those negative emotions that are stored in your system, because they are stored in your system, and being able to let go and forgive. And as you're able to forgive yourself, because you might not be able to forgive yourself, because you might say, maybe it's my fault, maybe I should have been stronger, so you start giving excuses or justification for why it happened. You might never understand why the bad thing happened or whatever happened. You might never understand that. You might never understand why you got into depression, but it's about letting go and being able to forgive yourself. It's just one of those things. You're better now. You're moving forward. That's a big plus. There's a lot of people that can't do that. So you've done that. So give yourself a big hug. Yes, I've done it. Because when you say yes, the feeling is the secret. I always say that, like, I don't know if you watched the movie The Secret, but they never said that in the movie. But later on, Bob Proctor said the secret is the feeling. So when you feel good, your brain works for you, your body works for you to make you feel better and to give you solutions to be able to get more positive. So it's very, very important to be able to go for compassion, because it's all a learning. I believe we're all here to learn and grow. It's no
Mm-hmm.
mistake, an opportunity for growth. So take that
Yeah.
opportunity up and get there. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Love it. Thank you so much. So now, just listening in on here, I think all you guys kind of hit a little bit of talking about the support of this. And Jeffrey, I know you were talking about having friends and having people that can see the situation, and you've poured into them, and they are now pouring into you. And that is really you have to have a sustainable support system around you sometimes to get through any type of mental
Mm-hmm.
mental health, mental wellness, just being able to stay up. So how can someone build a sustainable support system for long-term mental wellness? I know when I got laid off, it was a gut punch, and
Yeah.
I going down that, because I'm like,
Uh-huh.
well, I've never been let go from anything. What the, you
Yeah.
know, and I
Mm-hmm.
started going down that, and I decided to create a group. And that group was just a handful of people that I just wanted to celebrate wins, personal and professional, with each week. Wanted to chat about any challenges, personal and professional, just because I wanted to, feel like, what, I'm not alone in this. There's other people that are out there struggling with some similar things that I am. And my group has grown. I mean, there's 500 women worldwide now.
Nice.
Amazing, but to have that support system, and to even see in that support system little groups that have come together when others are dealing with different things. And that is so vital, because there's so many people out there that just go into a box,
Yeah.
and they become a hermit. I've been there before as well. So, and that didn't work. So let's talk about that. So we'll go with you, Teresa, and then we'll go down to you, Jeff, and then we'll let you go ahead and finish this off, AB. So what is building a sustainable support system look like to you, Teresa?
Yeah, to me, sustainable support is having someone who's a confidant. And that could be a friend, a family member, a significant other. Just pick somebody that you could complain to too, because that's important. Because sometimes we're feeling certain ways, and especially say you get let go from a job, or something goes on at a workplace, or something happens. I've been there, and you can't say things to other people unless it's appropriate. And, having a confidant where you could call them up or meet with them and say, oh my goodness, this went on, this went on. I'm so upset about this happened, that happened, that happened, is so important. The other thing is that you could, like you said, build a community group or join a support group. And there's a lot of support groups for a lot of different circumstances. And you could join a support group. Just make sure that it's one in confidence, that it's a group that everything is held in confidence and nothing goes outside those walls.
Right.
That, that's very important. That because sometimes you don't know who people are.
Mm-hmm.
And you could get into a lot of trouble. And I'll share a quick story. Many years ago, when I was starting my career, I was promoted to a position as a head nurse, a head of a department. And it was a department that had a lot of turmoil. A lot of the nurses in that department had been there a long time. And there were things that needed changing, and they did not want to change anything. And some of them also wanted the position and were bitter because they didn't get it, that an outsider came in. And I had gone to this group, and it was a group of nurses, and it was a leadership group where everybody talked about different challenges and everything in leadership. Well, I never did ask if it was, where this information would it ever go anyplace. Well, turns out that when I talked about my situation, somebody in the group who wasn't even in the same state as me was friends with somebody, one of the nurses that I was in charge of. And oh my goodness, all hell broke loose.
Wow.
It just broke loose because she went back and told her everything, how I was complaining about everybody, how I thought people were lazy. I mean, she was even changing things around. And it caused so much turmoil for me that it took me months to get out of that. And I remember my supervisor telling me, whenever you get into any group, make sure that it's confidential, just like a medical setting or a mental health setting where people can't go back and say anything. So that's the only caution I would say to people, that when they join community groups or support things, to make sure that it is confidential, to always have either a group confidant or a single confidant, somebody that you could bitch to when you need to. Thank you.
Love that. Thank you, Teresa. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good point. Something my bishop always would say: if you want a friend, be a friend. You want love, give love. So you might already have people you know or might not be that cool with that you can engage and build that connection with. And there will come points and times where they might seem like they got something they want to say to you, but well, I don't know. I have a thing where I say, okay, this GA classified. What we talking about? Because it never happened. Okay, cool. This and this going on. Like, okay, now what you want to do? Want to pray with you? Want me to have some crown with you? How you want to deal with it? Oh, you like what you need? Because I want you to be good. And once you start building those bridges with the person, you might create more of those relationships with, or might have that one or two where they do the same for you. Where if you need to just bitch about it, as you said, go ahead. What's the problem? But they got your back to where after you vet and get all out of the system, okay, now what should you really do to fix it? And that's the key part of whoever you're connecting with. If they really got love for you, they're going to let you do all that. Okay, what did you do wrong? Now, how can you fix it so you good? And you might not want to hear that part, but if they got love for you, like, no, I'm giving you the real. Because you did ABC. So I get you mad at her, but you did that and she did that. So how you going to fix it? It ain't going to go nowhere until you make a move or she make a move. So why don't you make a move? And you might not want to hear it, but you like, okay, they really do got my back. Because if they got love for you, they want you happy.
Right.
They're going to let you vent, but they're going to give you the real, like, hey, that scripture say you need to go do this, or that help self-help, but you need to go fix it. You can't stay here just mad at the world because you did help cause it.
That's right.
And you need to vent again, come back, and I'm telling you, all right, you done venting, now go back in there and fix it. And that's your real people.
That's right. You got to have those real people. Thank you. Amy, what about you? What does that sustainable support system look like?
Okay. Well, thank you all for what you just said. Well, recovering from depression, like I said earlier, it's a journey. It takes a while. It's a path, and sometimes can feel really, really lonely. So building a support system is one of the most powerful ways to reclaim your life and thrive. Support doesn't just happen through tough moments. It provides connection, encouragement, and the reminders that you're not alone. It's always so like Teresa said at the beginning, start with trusted relationships. People that you know, people that you can trust. And from her theory that she talks about confidence, making sure that there's confidence, so that, because that can be quite distressing when you hear that your story has been shared with other people. If possible, seek professional help from a coach, from a counselor, seek professional help. That can also help. There are support groups around these days, so you might have one near you or an online group that you can join. That's really helpful. Also, learn how to set boundaries. So there's some certain things that you cannot accept. Learn how to set boundaries, and people respect boundaries. A lot of times when people cross boundaries, because they don't know what your boundaries are. So you're thinking that maybe they're trying to make you feel bad, but actually they're probably not self-aware, so they can be aware of you if they're not self-aware. And then nurture the self-support. So although it's also great to have a support network. It's also great to nurture your own self support. That's me time. And remember, building support takes time.
Yeah.
It's worth the effort. So you deserve to be filled with the connection, joy, and encouragement. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Evie. Oh my goodness, this has been such an amazing conversation, you guys. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. So I'm going to go around the room. It's Monday, it's the start of a new week. It is Mental Monday. What are some just quick words of encouragement, words of wisdom that you can give the audience to just kick off their week and really, really, start it with a bang? So Teresa, go ahead. Let's start with you. Words of wisdom, words of encouragement.
Okay, words of wisdom. Every day is a new opportunity to start again. And just like the sun rises, every day is different. Every day for us is different, but just know that every day you have the opportunity to be the best person that you can, to have your dreams, to have your goals, and to act on those goals and those dreams. So, just like the sun, rise, be present, have your day, and then prepare for a new day at the end of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Teresa. Jeff.
This day is probably very emotional for a lot of people. I mean, it's MLK Day. Great man that died trying to have equality for all. We had the presidential inauguration. Some people might still be a little upset, but pray. We prayed that prayer for the people in Cali dealing with fires. Someone is worse off than you. So instead of having all them different emotions and angers about events going on, reflect, realize as we're about to inaugurate a new leader, a great leader died years ago, wanting everybody to have a fair opportunity. So take that time to make sure, are you praying for this country and all the leaders and your family and friends to have the opportunity to be their best selves? And are you trying to be your best self? Because it could be way worse than what it is. Trust me. I'm dealing with it right now, and I know it's arctic weather in Michigan right, negatives. You better off than being over here right now. But you can't be outside 30 minutes without getting frostbite. So it's always worse somewhere else. And be grateful for what you have, because, like I say, the next day will be better.
Yes. Thank you, Jeff. AP.
Yeah, for me, I forgot to mention diet. Um, diet plays a great deal in terms of your hormonal balance, which can lead into anxiety and depression. So listen to your body, look at what you eat, what you're putting in, because I know it doesn't sound like it's important, but from my experience, diet is so important in terms of your mental health. Um, Take time to care for yourself. Self-care, very important. And the gratitude again, like Jeffrey mentioned, so important to remember gratitude and why you're grateful for the things you're grateful for. So the sun's come out today. Why are you grateful for the sun? Because the sun gives me so many minerals and so many vitamins and gives me so much energy. And without sun, we will not be here. We will not exist. So we need it. So why? And so that makes you feel good. So the why as to why you're grateful for. So that's very important. Yeah, those are my words of wisdom.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, everyone, I want to thank you all for joining us today. If you want to get in contact with any of these contributing writers, we're going to go ahead and start with Teresa here at the bottom there. I put on the ticker, but Teresa, go ahead and let everyone know how they can connect with you if they want to work with you, find out more about you as well.
Okay, I do have a website which will be revamped, but I do have the website. It's wellbeinggal.com. It's at the bottom there, and it's all one word. I did write a book. Heal Your Heart from Within, which is available on Balboa Press, who is my publisher, Amazon.com, Books A Million, and Barnes & Noble. And I'm also on Instagram, so people could get in touch with me, direct message me on Instagram. I am on Facebook, but I'm not quite sure what's going on with Facebook. To me, it seems to be not getting as many messages, or content seems to be kind of a little crazy with that. So I would say Instagram, my website, and if you want to purchase the book, you're welcome to do that. It could be either be through what I mentioned. Okay, thank you for having me today.
Awesome. Thank you, Teresa. All right, we're going to go to you, Jeff.
All right, first one, appreciate the opportunity to be on your show. Phenomenal show you got going here. If you want to buy my books and music, you can go to Amazon.com and look up Jeffrey Edwards. You will see my face, and you'll see the books. You can email me at middlegroundwithjolellc@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Jeffrey Edwards. LinkedIn, Jeffrey Edwards. You'll see my face. On Instagram, if you look up Middle Ground with JLE, you will see me. And I have a YouTube channel you can like and subscribe to, Middle Ground with JLE, LLC. And I'll be out here.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. And AB.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I do have a book, Breaking Free, and it's on Amazon. And also I've got a website, which is absheila.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us today. Connect with these contributing writers. You can also see content in Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine every month from these individuals and so many more that can really help you to elevate your mind, body, and spirit. If you are looking to get physically, mentally, spiritually, or financially fit, you definitely want to tap into Phoenix Fitness Fanatics. Go to phoenixfitnessfanaticsmag2021.com and get your subscription today. And make sure you also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just look up Phoenix Fitness Fanatics and you will find us there. Thank you all so much for joining us today on this Mental Monday. We love you so much, and we will see you all next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.